Welcome back to High Stakes. Elevate your betting game by hitting that subscribe button and ensure you never miss out on our daily content. Want exclusive access to premium betting picks? Join our Patreon. Links are waiting for you in the comment section below. Stay ahead of the game with High Stakes. The Detroit Lions' impressive 11-game winning streak came to an end last weekend with a 48-42 loss to the Buffalo Bills at home. Detroit's defense struggled to contain quarterback Josh Allen, who delivered a standout performance with 362 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and 2 rushing scores. The Lions allowed a total of 559 yards of offense in the defeat. Despite the loss, quarterback Jared Goff tied his career high with 5 touchdown passes, including a last-second strike to wideout Jameson Williams. However, Detroit's comeback hopes fell short when they failed to recover an onside kick. Amon-Ra St. Brown had a stellar performance with 14 receptions for 193 yards and a touchdown, but also fumbled in a critical moment. Detroit's ground game faltered, managing only 48 yards on 15 carries. The Lions' offense has been consistently productive, scoring 23 or more points in 11 consecutive games, although they've now lost 5 straight matchups against the Bills. On the season, Goff has been highly efficient, completing 71.4% of his passes for 3,759 yards with 30 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. With running back David Montgomery sidelined due to an MCL injury, rookie Jahmyr Gibbs, 1,047 yards, 11 touchdowns, will shoulder a greater workload. The Chicago Bears, meanwhile, are coming off a 30-12 loss to the Minnesota Vikings on Monday night, marking their 8th consecutive defeat. Offensive struggles defined the game, as the Bears converted just one of 12 third downs and one of 3 fourth downs. Rookie quarterback Caleb Williams extended his NFL record streak of 286 passes without an interception, throwing for 191 yards and a touchdown. However, Williams' efforts haven't translated to wins, as Chicago has dropped all 8 games during the streak. Running back DeAndre Swift led the ground attack with 79 yards on 19 carries, while Keenan Allen caught the Bears' only touchdown late in the game. Chicago has now been held scoreless in the first half of 3 consecutive games, a feat not seen since the 2018 Jacksonville Jaguars. Williams is having a strong rookie campaign, throwing for 2,937 yards with 17 touchdowns and 5 interceptions while completing 61.9% of his passes. Swift has been the team's top rusher, with 821 yards and 5 touchdowns. The Bears have had success against the Lions at Soldier Field, winning 2 of their last 3 meetings, including a 28-13 victory late last season. Chicago's defense has limited Detroit to 14 points or fewer in 2 of their previous 3 matchups at home. Against the spread ATS, the Bears have been competitive, covering or pushing in 3 of their last 5 games, including a narrow 23-20 loss to the Lions on Thanksgiving. Detroit, on the other hand, has struggled to cover, failing to do so in 3 consecutive games and 4 of their last 6. The loss of Montgomery is a significant blow to their running game, potentially hampering their offensive balance. Predictions: against the spread, ATS Bears plus 6.5 points. Statistical trends favor the Bears to cover the spread on Sunday. Their defense has been particularly effective at home, holding opponents to 20 points or fewer in all but 1 game this season. Chicago's recent performances suggest they can keep this matchup close against a potent Lions offense. Over, under 48 points. Expect a lower scoring game. Detroit's elite offense may face challenges against a stingy Bears defense, while Chicago's struggling offense is unlikely to put up big numbers. The Lions have consistently gone under the total in road games, and both teams' recent trends point toward a defensive battle. The Arizona Cardinals have battled in one of the NFL's most competitive divisions this season, but face an uphill climb in the NFC wild card race. With a 7-7 record and a 2-4 mark on the road, they trail by 2 games and must navigate a crowded playoff picture. Despite their record, Arizona ranks 11th in the league in total offense, while their defense sits near the middle of the pack in yards allowed, keeping them competitive week after week. Quarterback Kyler Murray continues to face criticism, but has been a steady contributor, recording 19 total touchdowns against just 8 interceptions. Murray's dual threat ability has also been crucial, with 455 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns. On the ground, James Conner has been the focal point, amassing 973 yards and 7 touchdowns. Tight end Trey McBride leads the team in receptions and yardage with 89 catches for 938 yards, though he has yet to score this season. Last week, the Cardinals secured a much-needed win over the New England Patriots, dominating in all facets of the game to earn a 30-17 victory. Connor led the charge with 110 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns as Arizona controlled the clock, outgained the Patriots, and won the turnover battle. On the other side, the Carolina Panthers have endured a challenging season, sitting at 2-6 at home and 3-11 overall. The Panthers rank last in the NFL in total offense, falling over 1,900 yards short of the league leaders, and their defense isn't far behind, ranking 31st in yards allowed. Little has gone right in 2024 for the Panthers. Quarterback Bryce Young has struggled in his second season, throwing more interceptions than touchdowns. Running back Chuba Hubbard has been one of the few bright spots, averaging 4.6 yards per carry with 8 touchdowns. However, in their most recent outing, a 30-14 home loss to the Dallas Cowboys, Young threw 2 interceptions, and the Panthers' defense allowed a 119.0 passer rating to Dallas quarterback Cooper Rush. With Arizona still in playoff contention and Carolina struggling on both sides of the ball, this matchup appears lopsided. The Cardinals also hold the advantage in recent history, winning their last meeting in 2022 by a 26-16 margin. Predictions: against the spread, ATS Arizona minus 4.5 points. The Cardinals have a more talented roster and are fighting to stay in the postseason hunt. Meanwhile, the Panthers are reeling, losing 4 straight games and ranking at the bottom or near bottom in most major statistical categories. Arizona should handle this matchup convincingly. Under 47 points. Both teams have leaned toward lower-scoring games recently. Arizona's defense has been solid, allowing just 16 points per game over their last 8 contests, contributing to a 6-3-1 record for the under in their last 10 games. The Panthers, meanwhile, have scored more than 21 points just twice in their last 10 outings. With Carolina's offensive struggles and Arizona's solid defensive play, a low-scoring game is the likely outcome. The Philadelphia Eagles, 12-2, have already secured another postseason berth, but the race for the NFC's top seed remains intense. Trailing the Detroit Lions due to an inferior conference record, 7-2, the Eagles could claim the number 1 seed with a win over Washington and a Lions loss to Chicago. Philadelphia is riding high after a decisive 27-13 victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers, marking a franchise record 10th consecutive win. Quarterback Jalen Hurts was instrumental, throwing for 290 yards and 2 touchdowns while adding 45 rushing yards and a score. Hurts has been efficient all season, amassing 2,892 passing yards, 18 touchdowns, and only 5 interceptions. MVP candidate Saquon Barkley, while quieter against Pittsburgh with 65 rushing yards, remains the league's leading rusher with 1,688 yards. He is still on pace to challenge Eric Dickerson's single-season rushing record of 2,105 yards. Philadelphia's success this season has been anchored by its defense, which has allowed an NFL-best 17.6 points per game, a dramatic improvement from last season's 32.2 PPG. They also lead the league in yards allowed per game, 275.6, setting the tone for their dominance. On the injury front, WR.A.J. Brown appears ready to go after overcoming a knee issue, while S. Sidney Brown remains questionable following concussion protocol. D. Bryce Huff is still on injured reserve list. Meanwhile, the Washington Commanders, 9-5, are one of the NFL's most surprising success stories in 2024. After a 4-13 record last season, the team has been revitalized under rookie QB Jaden Daniels, the frontrunner for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Washington currently holds the final NFC wildcard spot and remains mathematically in contention for the NFC East title, though another Eagles win would clinch the division. Washington's last outing was a nail-biter, edging the New Orleans Saints 20-19 after a failed 2-point conversion attempt by the Saints in the final minutes. Daniels was clinical, completing 80.6% of his passes for 226 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. The rookie has accumulated 3,045 passing yards, 17 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions with a 101.2 passer rating, 10th in the NFL. WR Terry McLaurin has been Daniels' go-to target, with 68 receptions for 969 yards, 7th in the NFL, and 11 touchdowns, 2nd. On the ground, RB Brian Robinson has contributed 705 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns, while Daniels himself has added 656 rushing yards, trailing only Lamar Jackson among quarterbacks. Washington's offense ranks among the league's best, standing 6th in scoring, 28.3 points per game, and 5th in total yardage, 373.9 yards per game. However, their defense will be without DT Jonathan Allen, who remains on injured reserve with a pectoral injury. Predictions. Against the spread, ATS Commanders plus 3.5 points. The Eagles are on a historic run, but Washington has been impressive in 2024, boasting one of the most balanced offenses in the league. Daniels has led the Commanders to a strong 8-5-1 ATS record and a 5-2 mark at home. Philadelphia's offensive line has struggled against pass rushes, ranking second to last in sack percentage, while Washington's defense is sixth in that category, 8.06%. Expect a close contest, with the Commanders having a real shot at covering the spread. Over 45.5 points. This matchup features two explosive offenses with plenty of playmakers. Both teams rank in the NFL's top 10 in touchdowns per game, 3.1, and Washington's rushing attack is among the league's best, averaging 155.5 yards per game. The Commanders are 9-5 on the over this season and 4-1 when playing as underdogs. Expect fireworks in this high-stakes NFC East showdown.